Hello, welcome back to GotAUkulele bonus midweek mini review for you, and I'm going to be talking about clip-on tuners. Everybody uses a clip-on tuner, and I've talked about them before, I've reviewed them before, because you may have seen me on my reviews using this, which is the Peterson Strobe Clip. Very accurate tuner and differs from your regular snarks and your cheaper tuners because it uses a strobe wheel technique to display the needle. I've just come across something, it's not that new, but this is the TC Electronic Unitune Clip, which is also a strobe tuner. Now, a bit about those strobe tuners again, as I say. I don't think it's the electronics inside that are any more accurate than things like snarks, but rather the way the display reads them out, because on a snark you get a needle with graduated sections that goes up, and that can only be as accurate as the amount of little LED strips you can fit in. Both of these use an interpretation of a spinning strobe wheel like you used to see on the outside of a record player turntable, and when that strobe spins and stops, you'll bang in tune. The differences between the two of them, the big difference, and I will put a link to my original review of this one because I do like it and I do use it a lot. Also saw some video of Jake Shimabukuro with one of these on his headstock, so he endorses this one. Big difference between the two of them. The Peterson Strobe Clip, about £50 in the UK. The TC Electronic, about £25, half the price. Both use button cell batteries, both have buttons on the side that allow you to change the reference pitch for the A note. The TC Electronic Unitune also allows you to switch it into chromatic mode, which is just regular needle mode, but why would you when you've got a strobe on it? And the Peterson has an extra feature called sweetened tunings, which takes advantage of the fact that ukuleles and stringed instruments with frets use something called tempered tuning. It's an imperfect tuning, so it very slightly tweaks some of the notes to give a nicer sound. Very nice feature, and I like it a lot. Build quality, this is plastic but with a metal clip. Much nicer clip on this one. In fact, the clip on the Peterson has broken because I've lost the little screw in there, so it's kind of wedged together now. What I don't like about the Unitune is it only articulates this way, not this way, so when it's on the headstock I find myself having to twist to look at it, whereas the Peterson turns like this. Peterson screen on this HD version, which is the newer version, come on, turn on, is much brighter. There's orange representation, nowhere near as bright as the Unitune, but I will come on to which I prefer when we have a look at it, and have a look at my Peterson review as well, as I say. Other differences, are there any other differences? I think that, the accuracy, of course. Now this is where it really gets interesting. There aren't a lot of stats out there for the cheap tuners, but the general rule of thumb with those needle tuners is they're probably about plus or minus 1% accurate, which is plenty accurate for a lot of things, but it's not hyper accurate. The Peterson claims to be 0.1% accurate, plus or minus. In chromatic mode, the Unitune claims to be 0.05% plus or minus accurate, and in strobe mode, which is the only mode you'd really use, I suspect, 0.02. Now that's quite a lot more accurate than the Peterson, but I would say that in real world tests I don't think you're going to notice the difference. Or put it another way, when you think about how decimals work, the difference between 1% and 0.1% is much bigger than the difference between 0.1% and 0.05 or 0.02%. 0.02 certainly getting there, but it's still not as much as the leap as you get when you go to the Peterson from something like a snark. This takes it further, but I think it has its limitations, which I will show you. So I've got a ukulele here. This is where it's going to get really hard to show you on the screen what it's doing. So there we are. This is the A string. I'll take the A string out because I've just had it in tune. So you can see the green dots are kind of moving. I hope the shutter speed of this camera is not going to mess this up for me. The red dots are kind of your general reference that show you where you need to be. But then when you get up to where you need to be, you can see that the green patterns generally pretty much stop moving. There we are, stopped. Now on the Peterson, if I can articulate this so you can see it, I find these are much clearer, and we've got that stopped. So whilst it might not be quite as accurate as the Unitune, I find these dots are just, the strobe effect is just not quite so clear. It's workable, and it's certainly nice and bright if you're on a dim stage, if a little too bright perhaps. But you see what I mean about the articulation? It's the wrong way up now, so I have to kind of have it like that, and then I'm looking at it this way. I want it to be here like that, but what do I can't clip it onto anything. I can only clip it on there, and then I'm looking on the side, so I don't like it for that. But there we are, 2 clip-on tuners. I still really like the Peterson, even though it broke on me, but it still works. It might not be quite as accurate as the TC Electronic Unitune, but it's nicer to read the screen on it than this one. This one though, £25. This one, £50. So that's going to be a big difference for people. Either way, both of these are light years ahead of something like a Snark or your regular little Carla clip-on tuner. And as for those ones that come free with Amazon Instruments in the bundle where they give you absolutely everything, some of those are absolutely appalling. I'd be amazed if they're plus or minus 1%. I think they must be plus or minus 5%, some of them, which is next to useless. You may as well just not bother. So I like Strobe tuners. I use them for all my reviews to ensure that from the off the instrument is bang in tune in the nut. You may see me using this one as much as well, but it's just that angle that bothers me. It's odd to attach. Unless I'm missing something. Does it move? No, it doesn't. It's better build quality there than the Peterson, which, as I say, has failed on me. But would I buy another Peterson? I think I probably would, and they're more expensive. But I just much prefer the gradations on that screen. Anyway, there we are. Who knew anyone could talk for so long about clip-on tuners? I'm boring myself. Anyway, little bonus review for you. I am back this weekend, back on with the ukuleles. Enjoyed the rest of your week. The weather here is lovely and warm. Too warm, in fact. You can probably see a sheen on my forehead. Extremely warm in this office. But take care, everybody. I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.